Okay, yeah.
How did you like the wine?
It was different. Thank you.
Enjoy.
So I see that you're also an author. When did you write your cookbook?
Actually, I'm a journalist, so I would never say I'm a chef. I just love cooking. I have a big family. I'm cooking for my kids. Since I moved to Canada, I felt so much missing the food of my mother. So during the long Canadian nights, I started working on this book. I asked my mother to handwrite all the recipes. So I got a book like this, handwritten, and then I digitalized it. Then I spent almost 2 years working on the pictures, and finally I have this archive. And it's not for me, it's for my kids. I have 3 daughters, so I know for sure that in case they will move away from me, they will never miss the food because they will have this archive. This book has 92 recipes coming from the traditional Moldovan cuisine that, in my opinion, it's a mixture of culture, because in Moldova you can find Russians, Ukrainians, Romanians, Bulgarians, Armenians, and all of them somehow live together and borrow from each other a piece of their culture. So in this book you'll find what we are eating in our family. And when I finished the book, I understood that I still have a lot of recipes. So now I'm working on my second book, and it will include recipes from my family, but also the most delicious destinations to be visited in Moldova.
Good. Can we go through some samples here? What do you got? Show me some
Yes, yes. By the way, I worked on this book with a Brazilian photographer. When she saw me posting on Facebook the food that I'm cooking for my family, she contacted me and said, "Hey, Nata, I'm a photographer. Wouldn't you like to work together on a book?" And I said,
is this?
"Oh, this is something like a hummus."
Fasolita.
Fasolita, yes. But we are making it from beans.
Oh.
So it's very similar to hummus, but made of beans. And we are eating it during fasting period, before Easter time. We are fasting, so we're eating this a lot. These are mushrooms with different kind. By the way, we also have the English version. What I'm really proud of it, because finally our cuisine is translated for people who don't know Romanian. Eggplant. This is most coming from the Soviet period of
sardines.
Yes, it's not sprot, it's sprot. It's not sardines, it's sprot.
Okay.
And what else? Eggplant, again, beetroot. So we eat the food that we are producing on our lands.
What are some of your typical traditional foods that you consume every day?
Vegetables, everything from our gardens, like tomatoes, pepper, cucumber, cabbages. What else? We are also growing our chicken. We have our own milk, cheese, everything coming from what we grow. And for example, my mother has Ukrainian roots, so this is more coming from Ukrainian tradition. It's balabushka, and I'll show you how we eat it. So we make balabushka. It's a kind of bun, but we are putting it in a very, very spicy garlic sauce. It absorbs the sauce, and then we eat it with a good borscht, beetroot borscht. Very delicious, and I love it, especially when my mother makes it. We also are very famous for our pickles. And you know, because we grow all the food in our country, during the winter are really difficult in Moldova. You cannot find fresh vegetables and fruits grown there during the winter, but we are preserving the food. So we have big caves in our houses, big cellars, and we are keeping the preserved vegetables in these kind of cellars, and I would love to show you how does it look like. Just a moment. For example, my mother has a recipe. Look, this is how it looks in the cellars. All the shelves full of pickles, sauces, different kind of stews, and we are preserving the watermelon. Do you know? It's extremely delicious. This is my mother, and she always makes a lot of preserves for the winter time. This is watermelon, and my mother feeds my father with homemade watermelon pickle.
Watermelon pickle.
Yes, and it's very delicious. Believe me.
Never heard of it.
Believe me. As we told you, we are preserving also the vine leaves because we are making a lot of sarmale during the winter time, and we need them to make these rolls that you just have seen. My father has a lot of vines in the garden, so we have the possibility to have our own. And this is a kind of thing my mother makes for the soups, to use them for the soups. She preserves the flavor of all the vegetables we have, and it gives a special flavor to the soups. I do this very frequently because my partner loves pickled cabbage, and it's in 3 days it's ready, and it's very, very delicious. And by the way, as for me, I'm fasting every Monday, and this is the best food to go out of fasting because it contains probiotics. So no yogurts from the shop, but pickled cabbages. What else? Well, buy my book on Amazon, and this is the watermelon, pickled watermelon.
Wow, that's different.
Yeah, it's a kind of diplomacy you are doing now, because when you say it's different, it means it is good or not.
I've never heard of it in my life. Pickled watermelon.
It's nice that you came and you discover new things here.
Yeah, it's a very interesting show. I mean, if you're doing a tour, you'd like to know what the food tastes like before you go there. Or if the food may taste so good, you may decide to go there because of the food.
I think if you're a real gourmand, if you're a real foodie, you are a neophile. Neophile, that's someone who's open for new things. So if you're a real gourmand, you have to be open for new things. You have to come to Moldova and visit us and discover our food and taste.
Okay, so more information, what's your website?
Well, we have the main touristic site of Moldova is Moldova Travel, moldova.travel. You can also contact me, and I'll give you the personal advices on everything you want to visit. I know all the wineries, I know all the companies that are producing anything that you should try, and not only try, but buy and take it with you to your country.
Okay, what's your contact info?
My name is Nata Albot. You can find me on Facebook. I'm very active on Instagram. Just write me a message, and I will reply you immediately. Thank you very much for visiting Moldova stand. And by the way, hospitality is our second name, so be our guest whenever you want to travel and visit one of the off-beaten paths.
Thank you so much.